In this video, we're going to be looking at the new DLC for Wasteland 3 called the Battle of Steeltown. This comes out right now, so if you've been looking forward to more DLC content for Wasteland 3, then you want to watch this video. And we're going to go into whether this is worth it, whether you should get it, what it adds, and all that jazz. Let's start with what you get. So first of all, what you're going to get for this is an area on the map called Steeltown that you can drive to. And there is a new location where there is some issues with a factory that produces a lot of the mechanics around Colorado. So you're going to kind of resolve that dispute without getting into spoilers in the manner that you see fit. And there are some new people and characters to interact with, as well as new gear. There is also a new crafting bench that you can get for your HQ that you'll find there that sort of adds materials that you can buy for crafting. I don't know if you guys know, but crafting was added to the game back in patch 1.4, which I believe was in April. So if you haven't played the game in a while, there is actually some new features that are not part of this DLC that'll be in there, and this DLC takes advantage of those. The whole thing took me about 6 hours or so, but I didn't do a couple of the side quests that I could have. So I think you're probably going to get somewhere between 6 to 8 hours here, maybe 7 to 10 hours, depending on how much you do of the whole thing. So that's about the amount of gameplay you're looking forward to in this DLC. A couple of things I want to mention about this DLC that I noticed. The first thing is it doesn't seem to have any of those dialogues where you like pan around and you're in like first person or almost like Dragon Age or, you know, your original Fallout style where you're actually talking to the person, you're seeing their face move, etc. You're having a conversation. Everything seems to be done conversationally, at least isometrically, more like DOS 2. So I don't know if they just didn't want to spend the resources to do this for the DLC because this is a big part of the base game, but I did not find a single dialogue that was done that way. Another thing I want to mention is that there were a bunch of bugs I ran into. One point, I had the game like go to black screen while I was in a big long battle that I then had to reload the battle before and start all over again, which is quite frustrating. You'll see some weird animations where characters are just sliding across the screen. So in terms of performance, I feel like this DLC is about what it was, the base game was at launch last August, which is just kind of a buggy mess. Generally speaking, the narrative, the story, the area of the game was okay. I thought it was fun. I did like that there was no black and white answer to solving the issue there. That like is kind of gray, and no matter what you did, it was a difficult decision. I like that. But the areas kind of felt a little bit generic to me. There wasn't really anything special about it. And I don't really feel like, you know, this is a must-have DLC if you're a fan of Wasteland 3. Adding to that, this DLC costs you $13.99, which is quite expensive for a DLC. Most DLCs are usually $10 tops. This one is $13.99, and honestly, I just don't really see how they can be justifying that price tag for what you're getting. So I wouldn't recommend picking this up at that price. If you're a huge Wasteland 3 fan and you've really been looking forward to this, this is the first DLC of 2 that they're releasing for the game. I would definitely suggest waiting for that to come down or, you know, getting a package deal with both, you know, DLCs for a much cheaper price. To be honest, the target audience for this DLC, in my opinion, is someone who hasn't played the game yet or someone who's mid-playthrough and can pick it up and just kind of weave it into their playthrough. I can't see people going back to the game if they haven't played in 6 months just to play this DLC. I don't see that this would be worth it in that case. But if you pick this DLC up, like you're thinking about getting Wasteland 3 anyway, or maybe you just got it on Game Pass and you're going to check it out this week, you know, maybe consider it then. But this price is still really steep. And even then, I'm not sure I could recommend it for $14. So there you have it. Essentially, what I'm saying here is wait for a sale, wait for a package deal with both expansions for something cheaper. Honestly, I think you should probably be able to play this DLC. This DLC is probably worth $5, $6 in my opinion, maybe $7 at most. And I would wait for a package deal. If you haven't played this game before, wait for them to come out with like a Game of the Year edition or something. Get this and the other DLC as part of it. So that way it plays as part of your playthrough. It's really weird. I'm not a huge fan of DLCs just generally because a lot of times after I finish a story, I don't want to come back and do a side mission for a DLC. I would rather an expansion that continues the story from the same difficulty onward so I have something to do with my end game character. And that's not the case with this DLC. This DLC you can be due at level 9. So, you know, you can do this right in the middle of your playthrough and it's nothing special if you have already finished the game. Unfortunately, the Battle of Steeltown doesn't change enough with the game for me to do more build guides for it, or I would, so you're not going to be seeing that on the channel. But we are going to be having a lot of previews of upcoming games over the next couple weeks as E3 draws near, so stay tuned for those.